Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/AITA. In today's episode, AITA for retiring and moving to South America like every single person in my family knew I planned to do since I was 16. AITA for telling my wife it is time she went back to work. AITA for telling my 19-year-old daughter that she'll pay the plumbing bill if required for continuing to flush her tampons in our house. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. AITA for retiring and moving to South America like every single person in my family knew I planned to do since I was 16. I am 55, just pulled the pin on my retirement. I put in 33 years of work and I'm done. I bought property in South America 12 years ago and I have been building our retirement home down there. I have dual citizenship so I can own property without it being a hassle. The house was designed to be perfect for us. We have a pool, a small house for the caretaker/hardener, and 34 different fruit trees. The bathroom is up to North American standards and the shower has grab bars and stuff already built in for when I'm old. Everything is on one level so there are no stairs. My wife helped by making suggestions to the design of the house and by taking care of decorating it. We have been vacationing there for 8 years now and renting it out when we aren't there for some extra money. We have hosted friends and family there, both with us there and on their own. My wife has now decided that she doesn't want to live there for 7 months of the year. We have grandkids now and she wants to be more involved in their lives. I love my kids and grandkids. And my parents who also live up here. But I am done with winter. If I never see snow again, it will be too soon. The house has guest rooms and flights are cheap. If they want to see me in the winter, they are all welcome to come down. Plus I will be back for 5 months in the summer to do some contract work. I will see everyone then. My wife said she didn't want to go down this winter. And that is absolutely her right. I booked my flight for September and she asked me about the expense on the credit card. I said I was leaving for the winter like I had told everyone I was planning to do. This is when she said that she didn't want to go this winter actually meant she didn't want us to go this winter. I said that I was going and that I would see her in the spring unless she changed her mind and came down. Now her, my parents, and my kids are bugging me about leaving her alone for the winter. It is 100% her choice. NTA. You can't force her to live there, but she can't force you to live where you don't like either. If I never see snow again, it will be too soon. Same here. I hate snow. After one particularly bad winter, I vowed to be somewhere warm by the next winter. It started an entirely different life path for me. OP, if you aren't happy in the snow and cold, and the short, depressing days, then you don't need to be there. NTA. Comment from OP. Her priority changed. Yours stayed the same. NTA. This right here. She knew his plans even during the dating phase. She is allowed to change her mind, but she knew what to expect. NTA. You didn't exactly spring this on her. She changed the plan, not you. NTA. This is going to be a problem for the rest of your life. She has grandbabies and many grandparents don't want to miss out on the growth and fun of grandbabies. You don't even come back for the holidays? That may be an *SS move, and for sure your wife would want to be around for holidays. September is very early to be a snowbird. Where are you from? That winter starts that early. I hate snow. I hate it with a passion. We chose a city down there where the average daily temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. NTA. You have been very upfront. And she should have spoken up years ago if this was an issue for her. Did she know he was going to retire 11 years early? Are you even retired if you're still coming back to work 5 months a year? NTA. You told her exactly what your plans were. Enjoy retirement. Neither of you are, really, sounds like a great retirement plan to me. I'm very envious. Thankfully, my sons have no plans to make me a grandmother at the moment, and neither of them live in the same country as me, so I won't have the same issue as your wife, but it's not like you're never going to go back to the US and, as you say, your family can visit you. Your wife has changed her mind, and you will both have to navigate what happens next. If you're still happy to go on your own, it's then up to her whether she joins you though. Perhaps she could do a month with you, then go back for a month, etc. AITA for telling my wife it is time she went back to work. Throwaway account. My wife follows my main. My wife has been out of work since 2018. She had a mental breakdown during her 5th year of teaching. She has been going to therapy since, and we started marriage counseling during COVID. Reason for marriage counseling was because she thought I was pushing her too hard to go back to work before her, and her therapist thought she was ready. I tried to explain many times that was not my intent, but realistically speaking, for me to keep up with expenses and retirement contributions, I pretty much have to take on extra shifts, which sometimes clock in over 18 hours a day, and on average I have been pulling 84-hour weeks. I have been doing this since she stopped working. We recently had a fight because I had an extremely rough week and had the conversation again about her going back to work. She opened up with the same line she always does: we do not feel it is the right time yet. She feels I have made great progress, and if I rush it I run the risk of losing it. The we being her and therapist. I told her I really do not care what her therapist has to say, and I am sick of you hiding behind her words whenever this topic comes up. She started to cry, telling me she does not like being this way either, and I am belittling her due to suffering from mental health issues. I replied saying I do not indeed to belittle you or not take your issues seriously. Problem is I am running myself ragged, and what happens if I have a mental break? Do you think I will have the luxury of not working? No, I will have to push through my demons. She said her therapist warned her this would happen sooner or later. I would try to manipulate her into doing something she was not ready to do. This is when I really lost it and just let it all out. I did not say anything kind. I told her she insults me for thinking what I am doing is manipulation. I told her I am working these extra shifts so she can be home and bullshit playing games. I told during this entire time you have not even made an effort to improve on certain skills. I told her she can still not cook to save her life, and that was sick of coming home after 12 or 18-hour days. Just make us dinner, cause her idea of making dinner is pretty a pre-made in the oven or ordering out. Among other things. That said, she stormed out the house crying, yelling and shouting how I am a piece of shit, and rather see myself comfortable versus her getting better. So here I am. I do not feel at the core I am wrong, and while what I said was harsh, I think it did have to be said. So Reddit, was I the ace-a-hole here? Hey, I appreciate the replies. Going to leave a quick update to answer and clarify what I can. I apologize if I missed something. Thank nonetheless. Yes, I have been to a couple of sessions with my wife and her therapist. TBH, it largely felt I was getting ganged up on. My wife brought up how I was always tired, so I explained I am working harder to maintain our home. When I suggested part-time work would allow me to work less, their counter-suggestion was to cut things like saving for retirement and hold off on paying off debt and tackle such things after my wife gets better. Then I suggest renting out the house to cover the mortgage, and we downsized to an apartment. Her therapist said such a drastic change to her environment could have a negative impact on her depression, and advises against such major life-changing events. During another session, she brought up how my suggestion she tries cooking to save is money, so we do not order so much. She felt insulted because in terms of money coming in I am making slightly more than our combined income, and she was able to cover her expenses, so she does not understand why we are having such a hard time. I was honest, it has less to do with money pressing and more so the fact the amount of hours I have to work to maintain the income. I told her I pretty much am working 2 full-time jobs. The cooking or doing things around the house was dropped fairly quickly and became a critic on how I cannot manage money since I am making more, yet I never had issues when she was working with how she spent. More or less every session became what I could do to help my wife, and I get it, her therapist has to look out for my wife, and generally my concerns are small compared to my wife's. My wife is not a huge fan of our marriage counselor because she offers suggestions that go against her therapist. My friend has also suggested I speak with a lawyer to see exactly what my options are. After reading many of the comments and thinking back on everything, I think I am going to do that. I love my wife and I know she is sick, but I am good to no one if I keep up this pace. Final edit. Thank you so much for the replies and advice. Was a slow morning, only had one field call, so I was looking over the thread with a colleague and close friend. After talking, I have decided to put in a request for 2 weeks vacation. During that time I am going to relax with my friends, play some Baldur's Gate 3, and also get my shit together. Going to speak with a lawyer and see what my options are, cause I was young and dumb and much of her debt is mine because I co-signed and have a joint account. I will go to the doctor for the first time in 4 years and make sense everything is still working as it should. During this time my friend said I could crash at their place, so I am going to take him up on that offer. This will be my final post here though. Going over this, I made this post for all the wrong reasons. This is something that should not have been posted publicly, and I was petty for that. Even so, I thank everyone because a lot of what was said was what I needed to hear. I do not have much in terms of a family, both my parents passed. Thanks for the tough love. Something has to change, and if my wife is unable, I have to do it. I am young, I should be enjoying my life. I am not even 30 yet, as my friend said. I aged so much in these last 5 years, it is scary. My friend showed me pictures from before all this happened. I want to go back to the person I was then. I agree I was the asshole for what I said, but I do not regret it. It was a wake-up call I needed. NTA. You sound like you are almost at the end of your tether. 12 to 18-hour workdays are not sustainable for you, and it sounds like she is doing all around the house. Certainly, she's not cooking. Therapy or not, for the past 5 years she has basically lived a lifestyle where she gets to relax as much as she wants, and it's all subsidized by you. You have my sympathy for that. But let's be clear what your options are here. You cannot force her to work, either in the paid workforce or keeping house for you. You can ask, but you cannot force her. All you can do is decide whether you're prepared to live with someone who does not pull their weight in this relationship. If you decide you cannot, then you tell her that, not as a threat, not as an ultimatum, simply stating a fact, and you find yourself a lawyer. Despite the blow up, I say NTA. You sound burned out and pushed beyond capacity. 5 years of up to 84-hour weeks? Do you sleep? If she can't go back to teaching, then it's time to find a different career. My therapist said this would happen. Sounds like a bigger manipulation tactic than you telling her you are at your limits, but don't have the luxury of not working as hard as you are. She has all the regard for her own mental health, but no compassion for how her inability to work is making your mental health suffer. Not to stir the pot here, but is she actually going to a therapist? Like, you know, she is attending and talking to a person? I would question a therapist who is claiming she is making progress, but there has been no visible improvement in half a decade. Okay, this really resonates with me because I'm currently in recovery from a burnout. I don't like to make comparisons because maybe your wife's recovery is taking longer, but 5 years seems excessive. I'm in therapy and my therapist has never said any of the things to me that your wife is parroting to you. I've been encouraged to clean my house, cook meals, even do some volunteer work because the worst thing that you can do is just sit around doing nothing. You do indeed need to take some rest and let your mind and body recover, but doing nothing can lead to you getting stuck in a rut that you can't get out of. Sounds like your wife might even be there. All I can say is that I think you're NTA. You're probably burnt out yourself after dealing with all of this for 5 years. Should you have shouted at your wife? Possibly not, but you're a human being and you can only take so much. I actually don't think it would be unreasonable of you to end this relationship if this is what you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. You deserve a decent life as well. Good luck with everything OPXXX. NTA. Ask her what about your mental and physical health. Also, are you sure the therapist is actually validating everything like this? Sounds a lot like your wife is just saying, but my therapist says. To sort of add weight to what she says. And to accuse you of manipulation is ridiculous. The therapist sounds wildly unethical to me, assuming what is said is true. No therapist can predict the future of what he would do. There's just no way that's right or ethical. Sounds like they're pandering to the wife's mental illness. AITA for telling my 19-year-old daughter that she'll pay the plumbing bill if required for continuing to flush her tampons in our house? My 54M daughter, 19F, is living with me this summer before heading to college later this month. She spent the majority of her middle and high school years at her mom's due to divorce custody arrangements. My daughter had knee surgery at the end of July to fix a torn ACL. As a result, I'd been with her a lot helping her recover, food, icing, transportation, etc. Last week, I noticed in the hallway bathroom that she uses that there were tampon covers/wraps, I don't know the official name. The next time I checked on her, I asked her to confirm that she was throwing her tampons away and not flushing them. She said no, they get flushed down the toilet. She said I should be kind of embarrassed that I have a 19-year-old daughter and don't even realize that. I told her no, they don't. I reminded her of all the doctor office and hospital bathrooms where reminder notes are left asking women not to flush their feminine hygiene products. At the same time as I said that, she finished looking on her phone and I could tell she found information online that confirmed the garbage is the correct disposal method. I asked her to please use the garbage from now on. Later that night, I sent her 2 different internet searches, confirming not to put tampons down the toilet and instead to put them in the garbage. Several days later, when I was checking on her, I asked her if she was using the garbage for her tampons. She said no. I reminded her what we talked about and what I had asked her to do. She said I didn't understand, since I was a man. I told her, yes, I am a man and yes, I don't understand. However, millions of American women have figured it out. I asked her if she had Googled how to dispose of bloody tampons. She said I'm not going to Google that. I asked her if she had thought about using plastic bags to wrap her tampons in, or using something like that. She said again that I wouldn't understand what it's like to dispose of a bloody tampon. I agreed with her again. I said it sounds like you are not willing to try or learn something new in order to do it differently. I told her if that was the case then she could pay the plumber bill if I ever needed to call the plumber to come fix a clogged drain line due to a tampon. She basically gave up and said fine. As I was leaving she said that I was being just like mom. AITA? P.S. I know how this sub works, so expecting some questions. I'm driving for the next 4 hours and won't be able to reply until much later. Judge away. Edit 1 stopped at pilot rest stop. Going to respond to just a few questions. In the USA, there is a garbage can in bathroom. Directly underneath the toilet paper, both in arm's reach of the toilet. No lid on trash can. Thanks for suggesting. Edit 2 When my daughter says I'm just like her mother, I think that is meant to be a you've said the rule and regardless of what I say you aren't going to change your mind. You won't listen to me and change your view. Also, I think her issue with me is that I couldn't understand what it's like to deal with the bloody tampon since I'm a man. Edit 3 Thanks for all the input. I'll ask my daughter about a covered garbage can in the bathroom as well as gloves and/or small plastic bags. No dogs in the house. NTA. One should throw tampons/pads in the bin. Not the toilet. Regards, 25F. She may have been educated differently. There was a time when I was told they can go in the toilet and I flushed many a tampon before someone told me differently one day. But it's weird that she says he's just like mom, implying that her mother has also told her this is the case. AITA, I'm a woman, I used tampons for 30 years, and I never flushed them, nor do I understand why your daughter thinks that she has some special knowledge that make it necessary for her to flush them. Added, knowledge that would be inaccessible to men like her father. AITA at all. It's a logical consequence. Tampons should not be flushed. AITA and I take confidence in the just like mom comment. Sounds like daughter has been doing it for a long time. I wrap them in TP before binning. 33F. It's literally written on the box and on the instructions inside. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.